Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has insisted that his country will fight on to what he called absolute victory over Hamas. He said a deal with Hamas to have a 4-day halt to the conflict did not change the government's aims. Tom Bateman has the details.
Israel's national security advisor, Zaki Hanegbi, said the release will begin according to the original agreement between the parties, but not before Friday. He said the negotiations for the release of the captives were progressing and continuing all the time. Under the deal, 50 civilian women and children would be freed by Hamas in return for Israel releasing 150 Palestinian prisoners, also women and mostly teenage boys, that it holds. The ceasefire would allow for more aid, including fuel, to get into Gaza.
The head of the UN Children's Agency has described Gaza as the most dangerous place in the world to be a child. Speaking after a visit to the south of the territory, Catherine Russell from UNICEF said she was haunted by what she'd seen. She told the UN Security Council that more than 5,000 Palestinian children had died since the conflict began. She said another 1,200 were believed to remain under the rubble of buildings hit by the Israeli military. Exit polls in the Netherlands indicate that the anti-immigrant party, led by Geert Wilders, has clearly won the most seats in the snap general election. If confirmed, his Freedom Party would win 35 seats, 10 more than its nearest rival, a left-wing Green Alliance. Mr Wilders, a veteran anti-Islamist Islam populist, told ecstatic supporters that the party would work to end what he called a tsunami of asylum and immigration. He also expressed his delight to reporters.
I'm in politics for 25 years now, and this is the happiest day of my life so far in politics. We became the number one party by far. I mean, it's what a lot of people, if you would have asked them a year ago, would call you mad, and it happened today. So I'm very proud, I'm very happy.
A car's exploded in flames at a busy border crossing between the United States and Canada, killing 2 occupants. It happened on the US side of Rainbow Bridge at Niagara Falls, triggering a major security incident and the closure of several other border crossings. An eyewitness said the car accelerated at high speed, swerved before hitting a fence, flew into the air and burst into a ball of fire. The Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, spoke to reporters after visiting the scene.
At a time when there's such high anxiety, and we've been on heightened alert since October 7th, that's why it's so important for me to stand here and tell the world, based on what we know at this moment, and again, anything can change, there is no sign of terrorist activity with respect to this crash.
World News from the BBC. The Council of Europe has warned that the hard-won peace in the Western Balkans is under threat as tensions rise across the region. Its Human Rights Commissioner says former Yugoslav countries have been backsliding in their efforts to deal with their violent recent past. Dunja Mijatovic warns that governments need to deal with the root causes of past conflicts to prevent them from recurring. The United States says it's treating a reported plot to kill a Sikh separatist on US soil with the utmost seriousness and says it's raised the issue with the Indian government. A White House spokeswoman said Delhi had expressed surprise and concern at the reports and had begun an investigation. Gary O'Donoghue has more details.
Gurpatwant Singh Panon is a New York-based lawyer for Sikhs for Justice, a separatist group that calls for an independent Sikh homeland within India. He's declined to comment on the alleged plot, but a spokesman for the National Security Council, Adrian Watson, said the US had conveyed the expectation that anyone deemed responsible should be held accountable. There are also reports that at least one individual has been indicted in the case, but details have not been made public.
South Korean military sources say North Korea has made a failed attempt to launch a ballistic missile. It was fired from Pyongyang towards the sea late on Wednesday. No further details have been released. So far this year, North Korea has carried out more than 30 missile launches. The World Health Organization has asked China to provide it with detailed information about a reported spike in cases of respiratory illnesses and pneumonia in children in the north of the country. In a statement, the WHO said it was unclear if the events were linked. It has urged China's population to follow measures to reduce the risk of respiratory illness. They include getting vaccinated and keeping a distance from people who are ill. That's the latest. BBC News.